Do you want to hear what any other accent of English sounds like? Any other?
Scottish.
Which Scottish do you want, lady? All types of Scottish. But that's something like a Glaswegian, you know, most famous of all, not very popular, the Glaswegian. There was a story about a Glaswegian lady telling her friend about how it was her birthday, and she asked him, she asked her, is your husband giving you anything, hen? Is your husband giving you a present today? He said, no. I wanted some scent, but I wouldn't trust him to bring it home. In other words, they drink everything in sight in Glasgow, especially whiskey, of course, but she wouldn't trust him to buy a bottle of scent because he might drink it on the way home. Where?
Birmingham.
I couldn't catch that one.
Birmingham.
Birmingham? Yeah, I want to hear Birmingham. What do I want to hear Birmingham for? Birmingham people talk a bit like this. Birmingham. You been to Birmingham? You live in Birmingham. When you go back to Birmingham, you go yam. You go in yam, they say. Now this is, shall we say, not exactly standard Birmingham, but it's typical of the more unsophisticated Birmingham sort of speaker. Cornish, my dear, I was in Cornwall myself not very long ago. It's a lovely part of the world.
How about Irish?
Irish, which Irish do you want? There's so many different kinds of Irish. It is Southern Irish or Northern Irish you want. Do you want Northern Irish? Do you want Ulsterman?
No.
East Anglia.
East Anglia? No, you want East Anglia. You've got a different sort of accent there. Like if you go to Swartham, something like that bar, and you have people with this sort of rhythm, but you're different, yeah. Where?
Aristocrats.
Oh, idea, what sort of aristocrat you want, you know? The royal family. Do you want the Queen? Do you want our dear Queen? I have great pleasure in declaring this public lavatory open. May God save her and all who sit in her. You know, she's always launching battleships, obsolete battleships, the Queen is doing, yes. But the other members of the royal family are different. See, Charles, for instance, her son, very different. He's famous for saying, going out and about around the town. But Anne is different again. You know, she went to a girls' school that was rather smart. So
What about the Prime Minister? What kind of English is he speaking?
Well, he's speaking London English with perhaps a slight touch of Kent about it. I was just saying to my group this morning, the one startling thing about John Major's accent is that he has what is apparently a Kentish vowel. I don't know if he's got it wrong because he doesn't really come from Kent, but it's only there that they apparently say, instead of saying want, they say want. So he tells us all the time what he wants for the country. And this sounds very strange to us because I know no educated person in the whole of the West English-speaking world who says want for want. So there you are. Rhymes with front, you see. Very strange. Otherwise, he's rather ordinary Cockney. You know, he doesn't sound very aristocratic or educated. He's very plain spoken, that sort of thing. You know, a light Cockney, you might call it.
New City Talk.
Sorry, I couldn't catch that one.
New City Talk.
New York City?
No, City Talk.
City Talk?
Yeah.
Well, there isn't a city accent because nobody's brought up in the city, unless you mean very strong Cockney, old-fashioned Cockney, a better boy sort of thing like that, you know, the old-fashioned Cockney. Well, you heard that yesterday of John Wells, didn't he? Told you all about that. You know all about it already, don't you? Yeah.
Well, I heard that the high flyers in the city...
oh, my dear chap, high flyers instead of just aristocratic.
Yeah.
You just talk beautifully, you see. You know, they've been to the very past time before, like Eton and Harrow and so on, so they have that sort of accent, if you're lucky, you know. Liverpool? Did you go to school in Liverpool like the Beatles did? Oh. If you go to Liverpool, they say, hello, whack, how you getting on? Whack is the term for it. How you getting? Hello, whack. Do you like that Judy there with the fur hair? The girl with the fair hair? The Judy with the fur hair over there? Yeah. Liverpool. Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, I'm afraid my time's run out. So thank you very much for being with us. The absolutely unforgivable, unpardonable, hopeless thing to do in English is to confuse people by making them feel, when you say a sentence, that they have not remembered properly the first half of the sentence. You confuse them by making them think they heard something different in the first half of the sentence. Now, how is it you do that? Well, you can do that very easily, very tragically and drastically, by not observing another rule we have that I've not even given you on this paper, because the paper's about word stress. And it's the rule of sentence stress. And there is only one rule, so it's easy to remember. That is, if you mention something in a sentence, or in the first sentence, then go on quickly to a second short sentence, you mention something, and then you refer to it again. The second time you mention it, you must not fully stress it. You must not give it a full tone of its own. If you do, you will confuse the listener. For instance, I think one of the most awful sentences, talking about the way it's spoken, that could ever be said to me was one like this. I wanted to buy a pair of black shoes, right? But I went into the shop and the only ones I liked were some brown shoes. If somebody said that to me, I think either they've gone mad or I've gone mad. Because we knew we were talking about shoes. I said in the first half, black shoes. Right? But later, now the difference in the second half of the sentence was not between shoes and not shoes. We're talking about only shoes. What difference is we're talking about black ones versus brown ones. So the second half of the sentence, but the only ones I could see were that I liked were brown shoes. Or you could say were brown and leave the word shoes out. Now, in that situation, the word could be left out completely and it wouldn't matter. Then it's absolutely terrible to put it in and emphasize it. So that's what you feel. That's what we feel you're doing. So you cause chaos when you do that. You upset people. And now it's all too easy to do that. Because if you're a Spanish speaker, if you're a French speaker, you can do that quite happily. The French are very logical. They don't worry. They know that if that sentence were written down, it would make perfect sense. So why should they say it any differently? They don't want to, so they don't. Good luck to them in French. But we are used in English to listening out to see if a word is being stressed the second time. And if it's being stressed the second time, the only thing we can possibly imagine that makes sense to us is that the meaning of it has changed. Now, there aren't many words that can be used in a totally different meaning in the second half of a sentence that allow you to do that. I can think of some very rare ones that don't sound typical at all. For instance, if you want to make good coffee, you must use plenty of coffee. Now, I don't feel happy with that sentence, but I could imagine somebody saying it, because he changed his picture of what he means by coffee. In the first sentence, he means a cup of coffee, right, to be drunk, liquid. In the second, you must use plenty of coffee. The second time, he's not thinking of the liquid you drink, he's thinking of the thing you prepare with, the beans that you grind, right? And so the meanings change. And I've heard people say that. But even that gives me a nasty little shiver. I'd rather they didn't say it that way. I'd rather say use plenty of beans or something. So be on your guard not to re-stress, to re-accent a word that's gone. And by the way, I hear it done all the time. And I hear it done particularly with little words like someone and anyone and so on. And anyway, they keep on. Words like someone and so on are usually words that we use to avoid repeating something. They're pronouns that are words like them and it and so on. And that's the other thing. If you want a really horrifying, dreadful sentence in English, it's one that ends with the word it that is stressed. I was looking for the bus stop, but I couldn't find it. That is ridiculous. No native English speaker would ever say that unless they have some very extraordinary meaning for the word it. We wouldn't say I couldn't find it, but if you ever stress the word it in English, it's because you want to draw attention to the sex of the thing, that it's neutral, right? It's not he or she, but it. Right? And so you can't, so be awfully careful. Right. That's the best advice I can give. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. So what, are you going to interview me now?
Yes. Professor Jack Windsor Lewis, you have been on the summer course in English Phonetics since 1990.
Yes, that's true.
It's almost 20 years now.
Exactly 20 years in terms of 20 courses.
Wow.
Yeah, 20 consecutive courses with no break. Every August for 20 years. That's quite a long time.
So what do you think of the course?
I love it. Of course, I would do it differently.
Yes.
But so would everybody else. But I like the way they do it, and I love the teaching.
Yes.
I enjoy having students and putting them through their paces, hear them do things. And we always have a lot of fun, you see. Because in fact the truth is that phonetics teaching is laughable, isn't it? It's a big joke. You keep on making funny noises or trying to make certain noises and making funny things instead, you know. And so everybody has an amusing time if they approach it in the right way.
Yes.
So I've always thought that was a nice thing about phonetics. You can't be really serious about it.
Right.
My classes are always laughing because there's always something to laugh at in either what I say or do or what they do and so on. So it's good fun. Good fun.
Yes.
And I arrange to have materials. Yes. I always choose my own materials, have them ready, and I have all sorts of funny sentences in it.
Yes.
You see, when I tell them that I'm trapping them into mistakes. That's what I do. I say, now you read that and let's hear it, you know. And they innocently think it's going to be easy because it looks simple English words. I never choose long words or difficult words. It looks very simple English words, and when they come to say it, they go, boom. You know, they get it wrong, they make it sound wrong, and then I explain to them why they're doing it and get them to try it again and improve it. So I think we're all happy that way. I mean, it's a technique, it's a method that keeps you enjoying it, I think, really.
Right.
You see the funny side of it.
Yes.
You see, if I trap them into saying something they never meant to say, something funny instead of something serious they wanted to say, then that amuses everybody, usually, yeah. So that's the sort of basic method.
Right.
But yes, it's been a nice life teaching phonetics. I've been doing it now since 1950. About 60 years. About 60 years. Yeah. So you know, I've got plenty of experience. I may not be one among the best teachers, but I'm certainly one of the most experienced ones you can find.
One of the best in the world, of course.
one of the most experienced, longest. Yeah.
And one of the best-known phoneticians in the world.
Oh well. Better known to a very few people over a very wide area, though. That's one thing. Yeah. What always amazes me is the way I get as much reaction to my website, to my blogging and so on from Japan, say, as anywhere else, you know. But questions and things come in from all over the world, don't they? South America, Japan, Africa, whatever. Yeah, and that's good fun.
You've given both, group lessons and lectures.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, I prefer giving tutorials. I prefer having close contact with individuals, and I make it individuals. I dictate to them, and they have to write down, and each one separately has to show me what they've written, which is supposed to be what I've said. And of course they get it wrong, and then I read it back to them and say, that's not what I said, what you've written. You wrote this, and I said that. And so they hear them side by side. This is a good teaching technique, I think, because people can hear one after the other the right thing and the wrong thing, so they can learn to compare them well. So that's one of the nice things about teaching. Lecturing I'm not so fond of, because you know, the more people you've got in a lecture hall, the more people you're boring, really. But if you've got a lecture for 120 people and so on, they can't all follow happily everything you want to say, and you don't want to make it too simple, you don't want to make it too difficult. So you end up by never satisfying everybody in a lecture, but you can feel that you've satisfied everybody if you've got, say, 8 or 10 pupils and you made each one of them do something and learn something. Yeah. So I like tutorials best.
Thank you very much.